Good afternoon, ladies. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I don't normally use these things. I find that I'm generally loud enough, much to everybody else's chagrin. Thank you so much for coming here today to the observance of 2025 Memorial Day. Thank you to Carl Ye and the stewards at the Longhouse and Mr. Old Coyote, and to our drummers. Thank you. Before we start this off, I want to make an acknowledgement that here at the Longhouse and here in the Frank Merrill Veterans Memorial Garden, it needs to be said that here on this ground and in this place, in honor of Native Americans, that Native Americans do in fact and continue to make up per capita the largest percentage of American military personnel, as well as the largest percentage per capita of veterans, and have endured the highest percentage of fallen. So I think it's important that we recognize all of that. And in recognition of that, we'll be posting the colors to both the national anthem as well as to the Native American flag song. With that, we'll begin with the posting of the colors, the singing of the national anthem, and the singing of the Native American flag song, if you're ready. Color guard.
Ready? Post. Present. Art.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave
Order. Arm. Center. Face. Forward. March. Center. Face. Forward. March. Group. Halt. Dismiss.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Good afternoon and welcome, and thank you for being here to attend our Memorial Day ceremony. On behalf of the college president, Dr. Stephanie Bolger, the vice president for student affairs, Dr. Coleman Joyce, the dean of student engagement, Mr. Carl Ye, I'd like to welcome you here to the Lane Community College Memorial Day observance. Today we have distinguished veteran and guest speaker, Command Sergeant Major retired Brunt Conley, and we have our drummers Robert Merrill and Sky Merrill, who are the son and grandson of Mr. Frank Merrill, who actually built this place. We also have Mr. Avery Old Coyote, who's quite an ally of the veterans, and we tip our hat to him greatly. And lastly, our fabulous national anthem singer, Miss Ann Ferguson, who always does such a wonderful job singing the national anthem for us each and every year. So today we observe Memorial Day, and we remember and we honor. Thank you again to everybody here that helped us with this event, to include the soldiers of 2 of the 162 Infantry that we have here in attendance, providing our color guard. The roots of Memorial Day date back to the year after the Civil War in 1866, when women in both the North and South began gathering to honor those killed in the Civil War by placing flowers on their graves. One of the first decoration days, as it was sometimes called, took place in a Southern cemetery. And when the women placing flowers saw the neglected graves of Union soldiers, they made a point to place flowers on the graves as well. It was the first of many acts that would start the healing process of that terrible national wound. It wasn't until after World War I that the memorial ceremonies were expanded to honor those who died in all of America's wars. Much of the rest of the world began to use 11/11/11, which was the time and the date of the end of the First World War, to commemorate the fallen, as they had not done a previous Memorial Day of their own. In this way, we were kind of world leaders. We had been celebrating our own Memorial Day for over 50 years at that point. And it was already an unofficial tradition made official at the end of World War I. Memorial Day or Decoration Day was declared a national holiday, and in 1971 it was placed on the last Monday of each May. At the first Memorial Day ceremony held in Arlington National Cemetery, small flags were placed at every single marker, starting a tradition that is carried on to this very day. This is the day we pay homage to those who didn't come home. It's not Veterans Day. It's not a celebration. It's a day of solemn contemplation over the cost of freedom. But I don't think that means that our lost brethren in arms would have a problem with us having a barbecue or going camping. Matter of fact, I say that they would say, do it. Do it. Don't sit around moping for us. George Patton said, "It's foolish and wrong to mourn the men who died. Rather, we should thank God that such men lived." In World War I, there's a guy that wrote a poem called "In Flanders Fields," and to me, it wouldn't be Memorial Day if we didn't do "In Flanders Fields." And it happened at the end of a massive battle that took place in Flanders Fields. And it was in the guy found himself in the middle of a poppy field. And he wrote, "In Flanders fields the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row. They mark our place in the sky. The larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amidst the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, we felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up the quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields." With that said, please allow me to introduce Command Sergeant Major Retired Brunt Conley. He is the 10th Command Sergeant Major of the Army National Guard, former Command Sergeant Major of the 41st Infantry Brigade, member of the 162 Infantry Regiment Hall of Honor and the Ranger Hall of Honor, Primus Ceres in the Order of St. Maurice of the National Infantry Association, and I'm proud to call him my Sergeant Major. Sergeant Major.
Well, this is one of those instances when the leader beckons the call of the led. There is no way, I wasn't going to get emotional, but there is no way when Easy calls that I don't answer, period. So let me give you just a little background. First of all, ma'am, thank you very, very much for a wonderful rendition of our national song. All right. Merrill family, beautiful, wonderful, appropriate. Thank you very much. To our awesome color guard from the greatest infantry battalion in the Army National Guard, always has been, always will be, 2nd Battalion, 162nd Infantry. Thank you for doing the color guard today. And distinguished guests, family, friends, and veterans, most importantly, veterans. I'm loud, but not as loud as Easy. Okay. So, like he said, I don't think the fallen would begrudge any of us enjoying the time that we have on Memorial Day. They probably would ask that we remember, because their sacrifice allows us to remember. They would probably say, my sacrifice was worthwhile if it allowed others to come home and enjoy life and enjoy their family. Alan and I had the privilege of taking the finest infantry battalion into combat over just over 20 years ago into downtown Baghdad. This, I need to tell you, that Memorial Day is about all of our fallen, but I think it's important, because he and I are here and because you four are here, that I recognize some of the sacrifices of that particular unit. 20 years ago, 2 months ago in March of 2005 is the 20th anniversary of when that battalion returned to the United States. And Alan Azell's story is we had followed the rules and did not partake in any alcohol while we weren't supposed to. There was some violators, but not almost everybody followed the rule. But our battalion commander on St. Patrick's Day, we landed in Ireland. And we were still under the rule of no alcohol. But the battalion commander and I got together and we said, screw that. These men have been fantastic. They've done everything their country's asked them to do, all right? and we're going to let them go. So we got all the NCOs together and we said, sergeants, you are still in charge of your men and women. You will supervise them, but you will not stop them from having a good time. Now, at that same time, I think you got appendicitis. Is that correct? And he had appendicitis the whole flight back, and he felt miserable. I don't think he partook very much that day, but he watched his men and why they did. I imagine that was probably the drunkest air flight coming back from Iraq of all the flights that came back. But there were no instances because leaders were leaders and they let soldiers be soldiers. All right. So on the 20th anniversary of that, I want to talk about the NCOs of the 2nd Battalion, 162nd Infantry on that particular deployment. I was the senior non-commissioned officer. I was the command sergeant major. All right. And I thought I was going to mentor first sergeants. Those are the leaders of each individual company. Nothing could be further from the truth. I supervised officers. Come here, Captain. Let me tell you what the battalion commander means by that. Come here, Major. I think if you move in this direction, you will be okay. The NCOs were the finest NCOs that the Oregon National Guard has ever put together in one unit. I will go to my grave believing that. I would put Alan Ezell as one of the finest in that group. Now, he would never tell you that. All right? He would say, it's Ken Jackala. And Ken Jackala would say, it's Pete Salerno. And Pete Salerno would say, it's Vinnie Jocks. And Vinnie Jocks would say, no, it's Alan Ezell. And you know what? They were all right. That was the finest bunch of NCOs ever assembled in one unit in the Oregon Army National Guard. Now, Easy, as we call him, there's a book called The Devil's Sandbox, written by John Bruning, right? And there is a phrase in this book that perfectly epitomizes Alan Ezell. When John Bruning met Alan Ezell, he said, he should be behind a glass wall, and underneath it, it should say, in case of war, break glass. And Easy would just break it himself, all right? And that's just the kind of leader. Now, I will tell you also, his platoon, and to his credit, he brought every single one of them home. We didn't bring 9 soldiers home on that trip. We had 9 killed in action on that mission, and we had over 50 Purple Hearts awarded. We were in the middle of hard stuff, all right? And so when I think of Memorial Day, the personal part of it for me are those 9 soldiers, all right? And later, when I had the 41st Brigade, immediately went to Afghanistan, we lost another 7 there. So those 7 are added to those 9 for my personal memorialization of soldiers that gave it all, so that I am privileged enough to sit here and address you. Now, I'm a school teacher, so I will take this moment to teach a little bit, all right? From Lessons Learned by Brunk Conley. My family has a long military tradition dating all the way back to the Revolutionary War, all right? My grandfather jumped in Normandy and Holland with the 101st, and my dad was in the 82nd, and I'm a 3rd-generation paratrooper. And our son, Nick, Lieutenant Colonel Conley, is currently in the 41st Brigade as the operations officer in the G3. But that doesn't mean I understood Memorial Day. As Laura and I were raising our 5 sons, we took advantage of Memorial Day as a family without giving tribute for the reason that we had that given time. And as I matured, especially following Iraq. I have never looked at Memorial Day the same. All right? Some of us are a little slow learners. PFCs, especially you two, okay? Learn from the old guy's mistakes. As you raise your families and spend time with your families, remember that Memorial Day is a gift to you from those that have given everything. And again, Alan said it 100% appropriately. They won't begrudge you to go camping or to drink a beer or to go to a baseball game. They would relish your opportunity to do that, as long as you remember why and you take a minute and pause. So I'd like to do that right now as we close, all right, as I close. Could we all just bow our heads a little bit and have a moment of silence? May they all rest in peace. And one last recognition. Mindy, thanks for all you do to put up with him. Al?
Thank you, Sergeant Major. There is no fighter anywhere in the United States Army, past or present. To quote Robert Lawrence Binion, when they went with songs to the battle, they were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall not grow old as we who are left grow old. Age shall not worry them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun in the morning, we'll remember them. Excuse me. Soldiers in combat fight for their comrades on their left and right. It's always been that way. It always will be that way. That's the way it is. It doesn't take away from their patriotism. It doesn't take away from their pride. It doesn't take away from any of that. But at the time when soldiers are in operations, I can tell you from experience, they fight for their buddies on their left and their right. We never leave a fallen comrade. Memorial Day observances often speak of the fallen as an anonymous collective, like a nameless, faceless, but honored group. Those fallen soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, and Coast Guardsmen, they were people, they were individuals. They were fathers, mothers, brothers, sons, etc. And they had families that they left behind. And just like most combat veterans, I lost comrades who were killed in action. Just like the rest of us, I'm certainly nothing special. But today they're representative. To me, they're forever with me. They were my fellow soldiers, my comrades, and my brothers in arms. Great men, all of them. They were soldiers, they were heroes. First Lieutenant Eric McCrae. Specialist Justin Linden. Sergeant Justin Irely. Specialist Eric McKinney. PFC Kenny Leiston. Sergeant Benjamin Eisenberg. Staff Sergeant David Weisenberg. Sergeant David Johnson. Specialist Dave Rostam. I remember. As you entered the circle today, you may have noticed a small table in a place of honor near our head table here. It's set for one. The military cast is filled with symbolism. And this table is our way of symbolizing the fact that the members of our honored military are missing from our midst. They are the fallen soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen of our nation, our brothers and sisters. They're unable to be with us this evening, so we remember them. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. The single rose displayed in the vase reminds us of the families and loved ones of our comrades in arms who kept the faith, awaiting their return. The ID tags are blank, symbolizing that at any time a similar fate could have awaited those of us who took up the profession of arms in the noble defense of our nation. A slice of lemon on the bread plate is to remind us of their bitter fate. The salt upon the bread plate is symbolic of the soldiers' tears as they mourn. The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us this day. The chair is empty. They're not here. Remember. Thank you so much for coming here to our very simple celebration or ceremony today. Please remain standing for the retirement of our national colors and the singing of the closing song.
Hey,
Halt.
Thank you all so much for attending our ceremony today. If you haven't had a chance to get anything to eat, by all means, please help yourself to food. We have plenty. Help yourself to food and drinks, and thank you so much for coming. Good afternoon.